Okay?
Okay, roll.
Easy.
My extension, I'm out of extension, so I have to curl
it back in.
But to do that, I have to go up and down.
Okay.
Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I don't believe we have any special presentations tonight. The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from our October 16th council meeting. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion. Who was that? Was it
Wendy.
Wendy and Larry for the second. Any questions or comments from any members of the council? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from any members of the public? Hearing none. I'd like to call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mayor's not here tonight. Public safety, Mr. Frederick, do you have anything for us?
Mr. President, I have one item for us, the Harvey Avenue and Hamilton Street residential permit parking zones. Currently, the residential permit parking zones on Harvey Avenue, that is Court to Union, and Hamilton Street, Wood to Decatur, permit non-resident 2-hour parking on weekdays and unlimited non-resident parking evenings and weekends. Residents of these streets are requesting that these streets instead be resident parking only at all times. The Public Safety Committee agrees and is recommending that council authorize the drafting and advertising of an ordinance restricting parking on these blocks to residents at all times. If council wishes to follow the recommendation, it can do so by motion, and I so move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Frederick and a second by Mr. Brown. Any questions or comments from any members of the council? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from any members of the public? Hearing none. I'd like to call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain. Abstain.
Abstain? Okay, we have one abstention. Motion and motion carries. Mr. Frederick, do you have anything else for us?
Yes, we have the Doylestown Fire Company report. You have it in your packet, everyone. And that is the end of my report.
Thank you. Public Works and Administration, Mr. Brown, do you have anything for us tonight?
We did not meet, but I did want to mention that the Public Works team was of course, it is leaf season, which is a very dynamic time for them. And decoration delivery this past weekend, the past 2 weekends, getting the wreaths, the snowflakes, and the tree raised was all assisted by the Public Works team very well, and the town is getting there. It's looking up. So with that, I'll pass it over to Mr. Allinger.
Mr. Brown, your D-Works monthly report as well as the vehicle fleet maintenance reports are in your packets. We are on schedule as far as municipal leaf collection. We have gone through all the areas of the borough, and I can say we've covered every inch of curbing in this town. And now we start and do it again. So, we started Area 1 again today, and we should be finished by December 18th if all goes well and we don't get a snowstorm. And again, I'm probably jinxing us, but bring it. We're ready. Our plows are ready.
I just bought a snow blower, so we're probably okay.
Thank you, Larry.
Thanks, Larry.
Yeah, thanks, Larry.
You're welcome.
Keep insurance.
That's it for Public Works, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Community and Government Affairs, Mr. Bell, what do you have for us?
We have one item for council, and this is consideration of resolution number 2023-9, which is the 2023 Local State Account Statewide Grant Program at the Mercer Museum. And attached, you will find the above referenced resolution authorizing the submission of a statewide local share assessment grant application on behalf of the Bucks County Historical Society for the Mercer Museum. The proceeds will be used to modernize the museum's elevator at a maximum cost of $409,026.
There you go.
You started down a road there and you couldn't extricate yourself.
Well, it's written in Roman numerals, so. The grant program requires a municipal applicant, but the Bucks County Historical Society will be responsible for all project costs, with the borough to be reimbursed for any administrative costs. As confirmed by the borough solicitor, a separate agreement between the borough and the Bucks County Historical Society confirming this would be executed as part of the program should the application be successful. The Community and Government Affairs Committee has reviewed the resolution and is recommending approval. And if council wishes to follow the recommendation of the committee, it can do so by motion, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Bell and a second from Wendy, I think.
No, Jen.
Jen, I'm sorry. You two sound alike over there. Either that or my left ear is clogged. I'm not sure which it is. I did want to take this opportunity before we ask for any comment to recognize Kyle McCoy, the Executive Director of the Historical Society, and Mr. Corey Amsler, the Vice President. So thank you for being here tonight. Do we have any questions or comments from any members of council? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from any members of the public? Hearing none. I'd like to call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And that concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Zoning and Planning, Ms. Jarrett.
We did meet this week for the, Building and Zoning Department. We have consideration of ordinance 2023-12, amending landscape requirements of the subdivision and land development ordinance. Attached, please find the ordinance 2023-12, amending the existing landscape requirements of the subdivision and land development ordinance. The ordinance adds red maples to the list of approved plantings, and the ordinance has been properly advertised and reviewed in accordance with the municipality's planning code. And if council wishes to adopt ordinance 2023-12, it can do so by motion, and I so move. I also
Second.
feel like I should say ordinance again because it was said.
Second.
A motion and a second.
We have a motion and second. I didn't,
It was Jen and me.
okay. Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments from any members of council? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from any members of the public? Hearing none. I'd like to call a vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Next, we have the Certificate of Appropriateness HARB recommendations. The regular monthly meeting, the Borough of Doylestown Historical and Architectural Review Board, HARB, recommended the following. A sign application for 22 North Main Street for a sign. HARB recommended that the application be approved for a Certificate of Appropriateness as presented. The building applications were for 317 Maple Avenue for a garage. HARB recommended that the application be approved for a certificate of appropriateness on the following condition: that poly ash siding with Dutch lap profile true exterior by Westlake Building Products be used in place of hardy plank, as it is truer to the original Dutch lap profile of the existing siding. 169 Mechanic Street for windows. The HARB recommended that the application be approved for a certificate of appropriateness as submitted. The Zoning and Planning Committee recommends that council approve the applications in accordance with the HARB's recommendation. And if council wishes to follow the committee's recommendation, it can do so by motion, and I so move.
We have a motion and second by Mr.
Dennis.
Lavrone. Any questions or comments from any members of council? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from any members of the public? Hearing none. I'd like to call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Oh, we did? Sorry. I don't, I'll toss it to Ms. Highland. We don't have a zoning hearing board report, do we?
I think they were somehow misordered in the packets, but
Sorry about that.
It is in there, so I apologize for that.
We'll send it over to Ms. Highland for the zoning hearing board.
The zoning hearing board met last Thursday evening, and they heard 3 applications. The first was for 24 North Main Street, Mars Investment Properties. This application was remanded back to the zoning hearing board by court order for the second time. The scope of the application was to allow the applicant to put in 2 apartments in the attic of the Hart Building. And the request was to reverse a 1974 zoning hearing board decision and also to request relief from some of the parking requirements. That application was approved. We don't have a written decision yet, although I expect we'll have more to discuss next month with that. The second application was for 75 West Ashland Street, submitted by Craig Sweeney. That application was for a special exception and dimensional relief to allow the conversion of an insurance office on the first floor of that building to convert it to a 3-bedroom apartment. And finally, for 77 West Ashland Street, also submitted by Craig Sweeney, to modify a prior zoning hearing board decision to enable him to expand internally into the lower level of an existing garage. The second 2 applications are being continued to next month so that the applicant can gather additional information and be better prepared.
Just a reminder to council that council had authorized the borough solicitor to oppose the variance for 24 North Main Street. So we will be likely discussing that in executive session with the borough solicitor and discussing our way forward once we receive the written decision.
Thank you, Ms. Highland. Additionally, the code enforcement and the building inspection report are in the packet, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Jarrett. I was a little remiss in not asking any of the representatives from the Doylestown Historical Society if they wanted to make any comments at this point. I apologize for that error.
I will not hold you responsible. That's okay. I just want to thank everybody for considering this sponsorship of this grant for us. Corey can tell you more about the elevator, but suffice it to say, it was installed in the early 1970s, not working so well. It's the only elevator that we have to get people into the Mercer Museum. So this has been a really big grant for us, and I cannot thank you all enough for the support for this. And we'll see what happens when the grant goes through. So thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
Was it made from concrete, the elevator?
Environment and Rec, Ms. Margolis, do you have anything tonight?
We did meet, and Ms. Jarrett covered our business under zoning, and so I do not have anything to report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Water and Utility, Mr. Lavrone, what do you have for us tonight?
Water utility did not meet this month, and I have no report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Finance and Pension, Ms. Popkin, I think you might have a
Yes.
few things for us.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have 6 items tonight, and the first item is the adoption of the 2024 Central Bucks Regional Police Department budget. In your budget book, you'll find the revised 2024 Central Bucks Regional Police Department budget as approved and submitted for consideration by the Central Bucks Regional Police Commission. During the Joint Council and Finance Budget Work Session held on November 9th, 2023, it was recommended that Council approve the 2024 Central Bucks Regional Police Department budget as submitted. If Council agrees with this recommendation, it may do so by motion, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion by Amy and a second by Ms. Margolis. Any questions or comments from any members of council? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from any members of the public? Hearing none, I'd like to call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Just want to note that Chalfont and New Britain boroughs have already approved the budget. We are third, so it is officially adopted.
Thank you.
Preliminary budget. Actually, it's their final budget.
This is their-
Our preliminary budget,
Their final is will be incorporated in our preliminary budget.
Correct.
So the second item is the adoption of the 2024 preliminary budget for Doylestown Borough. As part of your council packet, you have been provided the copy of the proposed 2024 preliminary budget. The preliminary budget is to be advertised and will be made available for the public inspection at Borough Hall, on our website, and Doylestown Borough social media for a minimum of 10 days prior to the final budget adoption. Any changes that you wish to make can be made between now and the final budget adoption, which is scheduled for December 18th, 2023 council meeting. A budget message along with a copy of the budget summary has been prepared for the public and the press. Once the preliminary budget is adopted and all changes are finalized, the 2024 budget books with the schedules will be prepared and presented to council for the December council meeting. If council wishes to adopt and authorize this advertisement of the proposed 2024 preliminary budget, it can do so by motion, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Mr. Frederick, I think it was.
Yes.
Any questions or comments from any members of council? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from any members of the public? Hearing none, I'd like to call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries.
Just to let everyone know, we hope to have, or we will have the budget posted to the website and pushed out on social media tomorrow.
Do you have to do a roll call?
I'm sorry? Was there a question?
To do a roll call?
I don't believe so. I think we.
So can I move on to the third item?
Yeah.
The third item is the authorization to advertise ordinance setting the 2024 real estate tax rate. In conjunction with the adoption of the 2024 preliminary budget, Attached, please find a copy of the above referenced ordinance. For the year 2024, the general purpose tax is 13.915 mils. The fire protection tax will be at 1.7 mils. The special road fund tax is at 1.5 mils. The ambulance and rescue squad tax is 0.5 mils. And the debt service tax is at 3.725 mils. This brings the total millage to 21.34. If council wishes to authorize the advertisement of the proposed ordinance, it can do so by motion, and I so move.
Second.
And we have a motion and a second by Wendy. Thank you. Any questions or comments from any members of council? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from any members of the public? Hearing none, I'd like to call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And then the fourth item is the authorization to advertise ordinance providing for the regulation of water service. In conjunction with the adoption of the 2024 preliminary budget, please find a copy of the above referenced ordinance, which will set the water rates for 2024. If council wishes to authorize the advertisement of the proposed ordinance, it can do so by motion, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Mr. Lavrone. Any questions or comments from any members of council? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from any members of the public? Hearing none. I'd like to call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And then the next item is the January 1st, 2023 Act 205. It's the actuarial valuation report. I would like to report to Borough Council that the January 1st, 2023 Act 205 actuarial valuation report for the non-uniform pension plan has been filed with and approved by the Office of the Auditor General prior to the March 31st, 2024 deadline. The biannual evaluation report contains data and cost components that are used to determine the annual financial requirements of the plan. Plus, the data is used to calculate state pension aid for cities, boroughs, towns, and townships. For the January 1st, 2023 filing, the mortality tables were updated to MP-2021, Public General. The assumed rate of return was reduced from 7% to 6.7%, and this has a 5-year asset smoothing, which was implemented in our meeting. The filing of this report should be reflected in the minutes, and there is not action, I believe, Ms. Brinker. No.
That's it.
That's it. And then one more thing. We have the bills list for this month, and I'll turn that over to Ms. Brinker.
Thank you, Ms. Hopkins. The total prepaid bills, accounts payable, and payroll totaled $841,648.52.
And you have that in your packet, and I would make a motion to approve this.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Ms. Jarrett. Any questions or comments from any members of council? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from any members of the public? Hearing none. I'd like to call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And that is the end of the finance pension report, Mr. President.
Okay. The personnel, we did not meet this month, and I have no report. Professionals report. Mr. Doherty, do you have anything for us tonight?
Thank you. I have nothing to report tonight.
Bucky, have anything for us tonight?
Thank you, no
Solicitor?
report either.
Okay. Chief Knott, you have anything for us tonight?
Thank you, no report tonight.
Okay, thank you. I do not have a president's report. Do we have any items of old business? Any items of new business?
Mr. President, I've got a couple things.
Yeah.
Just as long as nobody expects to get home in time for kickoff. I just wanted to congratulate CB West football on a 13-1 season. They lost a tough one to South last Friday night. And over there, too, the field hockey and boys soccer teams were both second in their conferences. And I also wanted to make mention of how successful Spooktacular was once again this year, including a rather large witches ride through town. That all went very, very well. That'll do.
Thank you.
I think we should give credit to the organizer for.
Well, yeah. I knew.
Oh, somebody hiding in the back there.
Yeah, Liz is back there.
Do we have any open public comment?
Which?
Okay, Donna Shannon?
Hi, good evening. Donna Shannon, Doylestown. Last month, there was a comment made about CB West Field being locked up. And I reached out to the school district, and from the operations department, they told me that there was some vandalism a while back. And so this is just them speaking. And we get kids trashing the bathrooms every so often or wandering into the stadium after hours when gates were left open in the past. The stadium was not closed because of vandalism. Apparently, we had an employee who works at West who was telling public that the stadium was closed for vandalism, and I've spoken with that individual to make sure that they are not communicating operational information to the public. We adjusted the hours. The stadium is open to the public from the previous hours of 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week for several reasons. The new hours, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, are in line with the agreement we have with Doylestown Borough that requires the district to have the stadium and bathrooms open for public use during normal operating hours of the district, except when the stadium is scheduled for use by school for sports, classes, or other uses or other use groups that have reserved the stadium. Agreement language, except below. For liability reasons, we do not want to have public using the stadium without lights. Previous hours kept the stadium unlocked and open through the weekend at all hours of the day. Attached is a picture, although I didn't get that picture, of the sign that is now posted at the entrances. I coordinated the new hours with John Davis at the borough to make sure we are both in agreement that the amended hours were in accordance with our agreement. Previously, the stadium was being left open over the weekend, and the challenge is we do not have staff working Saturdays and Sundays to unlock and lock the gates. When there are planned events at the stadium, our staff are scheduled to open and lock up the gates. We have also coordinated with our athletic directors to deliver.
Your time has expired.
You don't care to, I mean, it's one sentence.
We have a rule that says 2 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, again, it was basically just in accordance with their agreement they have with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? Nobody else has signed up. I'd like to adjourn this meeting in memory of Rosalind Carter. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn in
And,
memory of Rosalind Carter.
Second.
hey, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Let's go watch the Eagles.
We have not been.
Okay, roll. Easy. My extension, I'm out of extension, so I have to curl
it
in.
back in.
But to do that, I have to go up and down.
Okay.
Now, one of the secrets, you put some of the branches back.
So, a buddy of mine knows the guy who does the Rockefeller tree, and this is one of their secrets. That if there's ever a hole, you just fill it back in again.